Well, I've had such a good day. A little tired. You guys know it is, if you don't know, the new moon has arrived. And I never know what to expect when it comes to my energy level when the moons go into these different phases. Sometimes when it goes into full moon, I'm incredibly tired. But this time it's new moon, and I actually observe 4 days of new moon because if you use certain charts and apps, you will see that new moon energy can be 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, as well as the full moon. But today, I'm incredibly just dreamy, tired a little bit, sluggish. I did do my morning routine, which is unmovable. I love my morning routine, and I don't like to come off of that. Let me know if you guys can hear me as well. Yeah, let me know that you can hear me. But I always do my morning routine. That's, like I said, non-negotiable. Even when I go out of town, I'm guilty of doing my morning routine because I love it. And it just starts me off right. And my morning routine is very solid, and it starts me off. And it took me like a year to lock it down. It took me a year to really like get what I like, exactly the actions that I want to start off with in my day, and seeing how each action affected my day. That's a big one. Like, I didn't just do a morning routine because some muscle bound man was yelling at me on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube telling me you got to do this to be successful. I don't quite observe that for me. Their level of success is great. I don't want their level of success. I want my own level of success that I've defined for me, which is going to be part of this contentment that we're going to talk about today. But how I did my morning routine, like I said, I put in, I knew who I wanted to be, right? And I put elements into my morning routine that were directly linked to who I wanted to be. And I would continue to do those things, even if they were hard for me at first. They weren't things that I didn't not enjoy. They were things that I did enjoy. It just took me a while to get it into practice and get it into routine. And so now that I have these things, certain things in routine, there are certain things that go automatic in my day, and it's because of those actions that I do in the very top part of my day. So anyway, get a morning routine if you don't have one. But today, I just wanted to talk about being content. And there is so much magic in being content. And when I was a little girl, I was raised in the church. When I was a little girl, and I would hear people talking about be content in church, I was very resistant towards it at first. I didn't want to hear about being content because to me, being content sounded complacent. It sounded like I was just taking what was given to me and have to make do. And I didn't want to make do. I did not grow up in a household or with parents that had a make do kind of. Well, let me take that back. My mom had a make do, but she's country. Like, country people, they use everything to the last drop. They don't let nothing go to waste. And they do have a lot of behaviors that seem very impoverished. But I did not grow up impoverished. I grew up in a very financially well home. I don't know about, now excuse me, because my neighbor has I don't know what it's a cover that covers their patio. And that thing is about to blow away. I've told the HOA that's all I can do. But that motherfucker's getting ready to blow away. And we haven't hit hurricane season yet. Hurricane season, I think, starts in October, September. The next hurricane, this motherfucker's gone. This motherfucker's gone. The next hurricane, guaranteed. Ain't no way that can last a whole nother hurricane. Anyway, so, yeah, I did not grow up, just kind of like fending for myself or anything like that. It was nothing like that. So just the being content for a princess like me was just like, ugh, content. What does that mean? Like doing the best what you can with what you have. Like, I literally, everything about content, the word content, made me just cringe. And I didn't want any part of being content. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be explosive. I always wanted it to be this big emotional or energetic burst. I always wanted to be up, right? And I never fully knew what being content was. I thought I knew what being content was, and it was according to a definition that I don't know if anybody, I think where I got the definition, I always think about that, like, where do we get these definitions that we grow up and we hold as adults, right? I feel like I got the definition because in church, I grew up in something called the Church of God in Christ, which is a Pentecostal church. And quite often the churches would be in the middle of the ghettos, right? The hoods. Now, this was very different for me because I didn't live in the hood. No, I didn't live in the hood. But driving to church was always a very big cultural experience because we were going through the hood to get to a church. And that kind of, if I could just put a pin in it right there, like, why are people still going to churches in the middle of impoverished areas? Like, I know some people might make the argument that, well, church belongs in the ghetto or the hood to help the people, but are we helping the people economically, or are we here for salvation, like a spiritual reason? What are we here for? And are churches equipped to help for spiritual things and economic things? And I doubt most churches are not even equipped to help. People in the ghetto need help economically. They need money opportunities, right? And churches are not equipped to give anybody advice or help when it comes to money. So that excuse goes down the door. But yeah, we were driving through the ghetto to get to church every Sunday. And being in different churches, I've belonged to 4 churches in my adult life. My home church that I grew up in, and then 3 churches as an adult. And then I'm no longer believe in God or Jesus or any of that now. I journeyed through 3 churches. I suppose that is probably a better thing to say. I journeyed through 3 churches. And so when I think back to the people that were in the pews, when I think back to, my church members, church family, if you could call it that. Not much family when you don't agree with the same thing anymore. Family goes out the window when you don't agree with the same things that they agree with, right? That family word is very loose. However, I think about the people that were sitting in those pews that I saw for 34 years. I think I was a Christian until I was about 35. But when I see those people, they were very sick. A lot of people were very poor on government assistance. A lot of people were not even paycheck to paycheck, borrowing, right? A lot of people did without. A lot of people had marriages where we never saw their husbands. We only saw them and the children. A lot of them were single women. Oh my gosh, churches full of single women, full of them. If a man wants a Christian woman, you're gonna go to the Kojic church, because I tell you right now, it's full of single women. Now they're masculine as fuck. Okay, you're not gonna get no submissive women over there. They're masculine as fuck. But again, that is not a bad thing against them, because the men are the ones that didn't show up. So when a man doesn't show up, the woman becomes masculine, because she gotta eat, she gotta get a house, she gotta keep cars. What you think she gonna do? She gotta go get educated. Like, oh, you thought she was just gonna wait? That don't happen. So it's a lot of women. They pretty, body yaddy yaddies, but they're gonna be masculine as fuck. So just kind of, if you want a wife, they there, plentiful. But seeing those type of people, just like I said, poor and living on government assistance, generationally on government assistance, like their mama's on government assistance, they're on government assistance, they teaching their children to be on government assistance. Nothing wrong with government assistance, but baby, that's not cool when that's your mode of thinking. Like, that's it. Like, as long as I get on there, I'm gonna be fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's assistance. You don't stay on that thing forever, and you damn sure don't stay on it generationally. No. Like, if the church is supposed to be the pinnacle of telling you what to do with every aspect of your life, surely they should be helping you economically, so that you cannot be on government assistance, and you can get you and your children to dependence. Anyway, seeing those type of people, I didn't want to be content. If that you're preaching for these type of people to be content in what in their life, in not having, in depending on, again, the government, and depending on other people to do things for them, like that kind of content, I didn't want that. And that was what I saw growing up. That is what most people saw. If we're honest, if you grew up in a black church, you completely saw people heavy laden, right? And so many of the songs were singing about that, like hardships and blindness and being saved and being a wretch, Like, I didn't want any part of that, because I wasn't born into that. There was nothing about my life that was in alignment with being a poor, downtrodden wretch, right? I didn't want to be content in that. I didn't want to be content in being poor and broke and not ever being able to go on vacations and not being able to have new cars when I wanted to. I did not want to be broke like that. I did not want to be content. So that was where I got my definition of content, and that's where I got the resistance of being content. And hey, my Chrissy baby. Yes. And being saved, honey. I felt like if you was going to be saved, at least the benefit of fucking sacrificing all the fun things in my life should be money. Well, goddamn. I had a resistance towards, I didn't want to be content. If being content meant I had to learn how to just be okay with being poor, I didn't want it. But recently, get back to the topic, but recently, like in the last, I'm going to say this year, I had two themes this year. Two themes was well-being, and I wanted to do things that were for my betterment, for my wellness. I wanted to eat better. I wanted to go out of the house looking better. I wanted to take care of my daily needs better as a neurodivergent person. Sometimes our daily needs and our daily functions that are normal for other people are not normal for us. And so I wanted to be better. I wanted to be well when it came to that. I wanted to be every move I made was just about wellness. Even my financial moves, I didn't overspend, because I knew that if I did overspend, I would be emotionally unwell. So I absolutely went through, it's a no buy. I just heard this girl use that term, no buy, right? And I literally, every purchase, I asked myself, did I need it and can I live without it? And this year was not the year of what I wanted. It was the year of, I had never realized that I had, in my adult life, that I had never been solely responsible for providing what I needed for myself as an adult. What I needed, I always had someone to help me with it. I had never done it on my own, not because I financially couldn't, because I was neurodivergent and did not know, and my spending habits were conducive of a neurodivergent person. And I was spending recklessly and didn't know. I was making tons of money. I'm a money magnet. I was always making money, but I couldn't have told you where the money was going at the end of the month every month. I didn't know, right? I didn't know what I was doing. And so part of my recovery is paying attention to every dollar. Do I need it? Can I live without it? Like, that's what I was asking myself this year. I got a lot of what I wanted. Let me tell you. Today, I cried today. I cried. Just about an hour ago, I was in my bed. I was meditating, and I was talking to my little girl, which is me, the little girl inside of me, right? No kids. I don't have any kids yet. But I was talking to my little girl, and I was just assuring her that, no. I was sharing with her that we paid our rent yesterday. We got our nails done and feet. And we bought our plane ticket to Las Vegas, and we still have money in our bank account. And that right there literally brought me to tears, because literally, like, I am just entering this part of my life where I'm able to do things for myself and sustain myself financially without anybody else's contribution. Shut up. I love dogs, but this dog all day. And so to be able to just sit finally for the last 2 years in this chapter of my life where I'm able to literally take care of myself, and I don't have to wait on anyone or ask anyone. It is by my ability. I'm taking care of myself with my talent. I'm taking care of myself with something that I'm really great at. I'm really good at it. I learned how to monetize what I was really great at. I learned how to monetize who I was. I learned how to monetize the thing that I love to study the most. And I'm super proud of that, right? And so today, when I was just meditating and thinking, like, you've done all of this and you still have money. You are still taking care of yourself. Like, you're not in a pinch. You're not worrying about what your next meal is going to be. You're not worried about not having money to put gas in the car. You're not worried about a bill auto drafting. You're not worried about any of that stuff. Like, you have never had this before. Like, you sit in this and you fucking be proud of yourself. So today it was definitely a proud moment, but then I wanted to revisit. I've been challenging myself to revisit contentment, because I hit the pinnacle of contentment in March. And within 30 days, astronomical news fell into my lap. And that was when I realized that contentment is a portal. And that portal allowed. That portal allowed. And just recently I said I want to go back into that portal of contentment. Not just to get things, because I didn't know I was going to get anything. I just liked the feeling of being content. I liked the feeling of not being pulled. I want to describe what contentment feels like to me. It feels like I'm not being pulled. It feels like I'm not wanting. It feels like I already have. Contentment feels like the most still, peaceful place that I could ever conjure inside of my being. When I'm content, it is a complete absence of desire. It is a complete absence of want and need. It is a complete absence of that pull of to and fro of what I need to do, and what I need to do, or what I need to say, or it's none of that. It is just a still, quiet place. And because of that still quietness, things are allowed to come in. When people say, I know if you've followed Abraham Hicks or some of the gurus, Eckhart Tolle, Wayne Dyer, like some of the greats, when you watch them, one of the things that they always talk about is two things: the power of allowing things in, and then they talk about acting like you already have it, right? So that way, when you already have it, you don't want it. You don't want what you already have. And for me, I have found what they're describing. I have found that in contentment. I have found that space that is very blank and it feels like a void. And there is no thinking. There is no what I need to do tomorrow or what I need to do when I get up from meditation. There is none of that. There's quiet, there is peace. In that moment I have everything. In that moment I am everything. In that moment I am. In contentment I am. I am content. In the moment of contentment I am. I am everything. I don't need anything because I am everything I need. And because I sit in that energy, in that frequency, in that space of being everything that I need, there is no want. I don't want it because I am it. And I know people say zero doesn't exist, but it feels like a zero. If a zero was a zero, that's what I would think a zero would feel like. Contentment. Just being. For me, it is past being grateful. I think for me to enter into contentment, I absolutely do start with gratitude because 2 years ago today, I was living in my SUV. And so I've shared on here many times before that one of the biggest, two of the biggest challenges of living in the SUV. Number one, bathrooms. And it was very humbling having to ask people to use bathrooms, right? But number two, wanting to cook hot meals for myself and I couldn't. The hottest thing I could eat every day were ramen noodles. And I would have to just go find a 7-Eleven or some filling station, Terribles in Las Vegas is Terribles, that would allow me to come and microwave my ramen noodles. And that was the hottest meal. And don't get me wrong, because for some people, ramen noodles is amazing, but I was tired of eating ramen noodles. 7 months, I was fucking tired of eating ramen noodles. And I was fucking tired of asking people for me to use their bathrooms. And so when I'm meditating, I am usually in my room or out here on my patio. And it's very easy for me to just look around and be grateful that I'm not confined to the SUV anymore, and I can sleep stretched out in a comfortable bed. And whenever I need to get up and use the restroom, it's literally 3 steps from my bed, a restroom that's mine, that I get to keep clean the way I want it to keep cleaned, and not sharing with anyone. I don't share. I'm not good at sharing restrooms with people. I never have been, because growing up I didn't have to share a restroom with anybody. I had my own restroom. But that goes back to kind of what I was telling you guys, the story in the very beginning, like being content, and how I was so resistant to being content because the spoiled princess in me didn't want to be content. I want abundance always. And so I definitely had to go through the journey of learning what content was for me and being content. And for me personally, I do believe, and I teach this because I believe that there is a portal in being content. A portal, like, what do you mean when you say portal, Kelly? Hold on one second, I need to adjust my legs. Because I'm 41 and sometimes them knees, they not Megan Thee Stallion knees, they not, okay? But anyway, so a portal. What is a portal? A portal is an opening. A portal is where something can come through. A portal is a door, a window. A portal is a space where not just things can go in, but they can go out too. And a lot of people only think about portals funneling in, but they can also be a place where you throw things out and you get rid of things. And you trash things and you're like, I don't want this a part of my experience anymore. I don't want this a part of my consciousness anymore. I don't want this a part of my reality anymore. Hold on one second. Yeah. I wanted to just read the comment real quick. It was a little too far, so I had to lean in to see it. But that portal of contentment for me is when I'm at my most intense state of contentment, when I'm in my meditation and I'm in the heightened state of contentment. And let me tell you, I can feel contentment in my body. My body feels light and heavy at the same time. My body feels disconnected from the identity of myself. I don't know who Kelly is. When I am detached from my identity of Kelly and everything I believe Kelly to be, when that separates from my body, I am in one of my highest states of meditation. And I hold that position, and that takes practice. You don't do that one time and be, that takes practice to hold. Because you'll hear a horn outside, or a fly will be in your room and it'll land on you, or something will settle in your house, a noise, and it'll snap you out and bring you back. But practicing ignoring all of those outside influences and quite literally paying attention to only what's happening in the inside of you, holding, feeling your breath, and holding in that position of where your identity is literally separated from the body. That's when I know that I'm in that space. It is an intense space of consciousness. It is an intense space of meditation where I can feel the most content, and I don't feel, but content feels like nothing. There is not a feeling that says, oh, this feels content. The content feels like nothing. It feels like everything and nothing at the same time. And the thing is that even though some people might be listening to this and saying, you're contradicting yourself, how can you feel like nothing and everything at the same time? Once you have felt it, you have to listen to how I'm telling you to get there, how I get there. Like, if you listen to how I get there, and other people, listen to other people, how they're meditating, listen to how they're getting there. Once you settle into there and get into that portal, and you hit into that, lock into that position, you will know exactly what we're talking about. That's the only way you know that you have it, honestly. You can take all the notes that you want to take from these greats. You can practice for days and months and still not get it. But once you finally hear the right person explain it to you in the right words, or when you start practicing different things yourself while you're meditating, you start practicing releasing your body in a different way. You start practicing different smells in the room. You start practicing different things you have on. You start practicing and changing around different elements on your breathing. You change all the different elements. You just keep changing and changing and reverse engineering and testing things out until you finally get it and you're like, that's it. This is it. I'm here. And it's actually taken me since 2020, it's been 4 years, for me to get to that place where I can separate my identity from my body until I could get and hold it and sit into that void where everything is possible and where I am everything and nothing at all. And as I sit in that void, the longer I sit in that void and absorb the I am everything. I am peace, I am love, I am money, I am wealth, I am love, I am. Not necessarily titles, but more so attributes. I am. When I sit in that place of I am, when I sit in that place of, again, that identity of who I think Kelly is, that didn't even exist for 60 seconds, right? And Abraham Hicks talks about it, that you only need 17. But I can hold that motherfucker for quite a while. And I do it multiple times a day. Because once you do it and you experience that let go, I can imagine that the only drug I've ever done, well, let me take that back. I've done marijuana, of course, cannabis. But and I've also done plant medicines that I don't necessarily consider drugs, but plant medicines, psychedelics, plant medicines. But I've never done anything like a street drug, a hard drug. I'm too scared to do that. I'm scary boots. Nope, no thank you. But I can imagine that the place that I go to where the identity separates from the body, I can imagine that is what drugs probably feel like, and why people enjoy that high to get out of themselves, because they don't like themselves. They're disappointed in themselves. people don't like themselves. People don't like them, so they've made those people have when people don't, especially as a child, when people don't like you as a child, and you've taken on that they don't like you, so now you don't like you because you were never taught to like you because the people that were supposed to teach you to like you didn't like you, right? And so I can imagine that because how much I told you I like to do it several times a day. I love to sit and disconnect from this identity of Kelly. I love it. I love Kelly. I love Kelly a lot. But I also love disconnecting from this identity because I feel God. I feel the content. I feel the I am. I feel the everything and nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Kelly, but that connecting back with the source, I'm gonna pick that every time. That shit is good. And especially when I get to connect back to the source and stay alive. I mean, we all gonna connect back to the source eventually through death. I don't want that because I like living. I'm having a really good time here, especially now that I know how to move things around. And especially now that I have this ultimate contentment in my heart, in my mind, in my body, in my cells, in my DNA, in my total experience, right? I love being here for sure. But as many times a day as I give myself to just sit and disconnect, it feels so groovy. It feels so delicious that I can imagine that that's what addicts of harder drugs may feel. And I can understand why that feels good because it does feel good to disconnect like that. It really does. But anyway, contentment. There is for me, I believe and I teach because I believe it. I believe this. I believe it. Therefore, I practice it every day and I teach it because I never teach anything that I didn't get success from. And I've gotten some amazing success from being content. And so I want to admonish or offer each of you all to reevaluate what being content feels like and really dig into different people's philosophies on contentment, how to get there, what it feels like to them, how they get there, how they personally get there. And I will, before I close, I was going to close, but let me say this. So when I go into my content, I lay down. I like to lay. I didn't used to like to lay down doing meditation because I was always going to sleep. And now I've allowed myself that if I do go to sleep, that's fine because I'm going to sleep content. But I like laying down and I literally do a scan from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. And I literally release all tension. And I have to go through my body several times because what you don't realize is that you're holding tension everywhere in your body. And because it's such a muscle memory, like you're used to holding the tension there, just as soon as you release the tension and you go down, let's say you release the tension in your neck and you move down to your knee, I guarantee you that neck tension is back because it is a muscle memory. It is used to being tense. It is not used to being relaxed. It is not used to being, it just knows how to be like this. And so you literally have to go from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet several times. And then you go back to the places that you know you hold the most tenseness in. So if you know you hold tenseness in your thighs, go back to your thighs. If you know you hold it in your neck and your shoulders, go back to your shoulders. If you know you hold that tension in your face. I hold a lot of tension in my face. And I constantly have to release in my cheeks, especially in my cheeks. I release a lot of tension in my cheeks. And I think for me, just me talking this out with you guys, I think it is because part of my old personality that I am releasing is this charismatic, funny, fat girl, chubby girl aesthetic or persona. And I kept that for over 35 years because I was chunky my whole life, but I went into that safety mechanism of keep them laughing and stay pleasant and smile all the time. And people will see that, but they won't see how chunky you are, so therefore they won't talk about you. You won't be the butt of the jokes because you're the happy, pleasant big girl. Don't be the mean, cantankerous big girl. And so I quite literally had this automatic like turn on when I was around people of, yada da, hi, I'm Kelly, right? And I don't, oh my God, like I'm completely opposite right now. And I'm actually in my era of, it's probably gone over completely to the other side of how much I don't smile at people because I don't want to. And I don't care that it other people are like, oh, that's not nice, or I don't care, because you don't know what I've had to work through. You don't understand that turn on, that shucking and jiving that I did for 35 years that I'm completely exhausted and burned out with. And so if I don't want to speak to you, and if I don't want to smile at you, and if I don't want to greet you, I won't. And I don't feel obligated to do so. Eventually, I'll even back out, but right now, I'm enjoying the autonomy and my right to not have to do that if I don't want to. I do smile and I'm pleasant, but if it is a day where I don't feel like it, I don't want to be, I won't, without apology or explanation. And so I feel like that tension, me relaxing that, is just telling my face again, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to put on for anybody. Relax. And so I relax every part. Relax your toes, relax your knees, relax your calves, relax your shoulders again, relax your chest, relax your stomach. And it almost gets to the point where I feel like a blob. I feel like a blob on my bed, and it's very heavy. But simultaneously with that heaviness, I can start to feel the lightness, and I know that I'm getting ready to disconnect. I'm disconnecting from Kelly. I'm disconnecting from the third child. I'm disconnecting from Willis and Juanita's daughter. I am disconnecting from the girl that likes Mediterranean food and Asian food. I'm disconnecting from the singer. I'm disconnecting from the teacher. I'm disconnecting from all of that, and I'm just being. What are you being, Kelly? Everything. I'm just completely sitting in a suspended state of all and nothing at the same time. And I can hold that for a little bit. And that's what I hold. You just practice on holding it. When you feel it, that feeling, how good it feels, is something that I can't even describe to you. There are no words to describe how good that feeling feels other than tears. There is no, I can't describe it other than tears. For me to try to give you, for me to say it's good is almost disrespectful, because that's too low. It feels better than good. Other things I've learned is that when I'm in those suspended areas, and especially just as I go through my day, my wellness, my year of wellness, and my year of content, being happy and content, really looking around at everything I've done in the last 2 years, how I've, like I said, got myself from homelessness, how I'm living incredibly well, how my dream, I always wanted to live in Mexico, and I moved myself to Mexico, and I live in a beautiful home here in Mexico. Beautiful. I'm so blessed. And I did that. And just looking at the things that I did with my own strength and mental faculty, and paying attention to myself and learning myself, I'm absolutely content here. I'm absolutely in a state where I don't want for anything. I don't want. I don't have any wants. I don't have any needs unmet. Every need is met. Every need, and this is not. I remember in church sometimes people would say, speak it until it happens, right? I spoke this 2 years ago, and now it's here. So I'm not speaking to make it like come true. It is here. I am completely content. There's not one thing in my life that has a need. And to sit here today and say that I don't have a YouTube channel that's full of flashy things. I don't know if I ever will, because for me there is sacredness in my life, and there are so many things that I just don't want to share. Like, I didn't used to be that person. I used to definitely be that person that would tell everything online, and every good thing that happened to me, I would tell it. And it's not because I'm afraid of haters or anything like that. It's because when you open yourself up to tell the goodness of the things that happen to you. You open it up for people that are bitter and miserable, and they're going. And I just don't have it. I don't have it to entertain bitterness and people that are unsatisfied with themselves, or people that won't step into their full power and make the exact same things happen for themselves that I did. I'm special, but I'm not. Anybody and everybody can do this. Anybody and everybody can think like this. You just got to make a choice. One of my mentors used to say all the time, just choose. And I'm like, well, how can you choose if you got this going on? Choose. And I literally, her answer never changed. I could throw any kind of circumstance to her. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? Choose. Choose. That's all you got to do is choose. And 2 years later, I fully understand what she's saying. I just chose. I chose. And I do now. I am doing. And there is not one need unmet in my life. And I don't have anything that I need. I don't have anything. Everything that I want and need, I have. And that has me sitting in the most beautiful place of contentment. Let me share this one last thing before I go. I teach this to people that sometimes when I'm sitting in meditation and I'm talking to myself and I ask myself this extended question, I say, once I feel like when I get into the juiciness and the goodness of a moment, I say to myself, is there anything that you could add to this moment that would make it better? That could make you more happy? That could make you feel more content? And my answers recently have just been, nope. This moment is perfect as is. There is not one thing that I need to make this moment any better. And I pray and speak and wish all of that for all of you, that you have these most delicious little pockets. Sometimes it's not the whole day, and it doesn't have to be the whole day. You just need a little pocket of happiness, a little pocket of deliciousness, of yumminess to settle into, and just to say, I love you too. That I love who I am. I love my life. And right now in this moment, everything is perfect. And we'll deal with other moments when they come. But right now, in this moment, nothing needs to be added. Nothing needs to change. I don't have to beg for anything. I don't have to feel like I don't have. I'm in lack. I don't have to do any of that. In this moment, it's perfect. It feels perfect. And yeah, contentment. So I hope that you guys got something about contentment. I hope and speak contentment over into each of you. And I hope that you take your time and go back and listen to the beginning of this video, because contentment is a portal. And if you can sit in contentment long enough, that portal of not wanting and not needing, if you can do that long enough, many times, you're going to pull things into your reality that are going to blow your fucking mind. And it is not just enough to be able to pull it into your reality. You do have to be able to maintain it, but that's another story. That's another story for another time, maintaining what you bring in. But God damn it, it feels so good when you know by your power that you've brought something in, by your mind, by your energy, by your vibration. You brought something in, and you have just the same amount of power, but I had to move myself here to Mexico. I live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse in a gated community in Mexico. I live a dream. In fact, one of my friends, a guy friend, he says, you're living a flex. I was like, I am? I just was trying to get here. And then I didn't realize, oh, well, damn, you're right. I am living a flex, right? And it's a point to where I did not know, again, I wasn't thinking about it being intimidating to anyone. I just knew that I wanted to live in Mexico. I just knew that I wanted to be in culture. I just knew that I wanted to raise children here. I just knew that I wanted to be in the culture of Mexicana, and I love it here. And so, anyway, I hope that you all got something from this. Thank you, C. Just be content, everybody. Go back to the beginning of this video. I want you to listen to it. Contentment is a portal. It is a portal. Whenever you can sit in a space where you want for nothing and every need is met and the moment is absolutely deliciously perfect, no matter if it is perfect or not perfect, you just feel like it's perfect for just a little while. Abraham Hicks says 17 seconds. I say hold it as long as you can and do it as often as you can during the day, as often as you can. Keep that as momentum. The more you do it, the more momentum you build up. You go from days of feeling like, I need this, I don't have this, oh, please give me this, to now you're going, even if you do it 1 minute, 5 times a day, you've had 5 minutes every day where you have literally stepped into the seat of God, where you feel like everything for 5 minutes versus going weeks and never feeling that. You're doing something. I promise you that. You are opening up a portal, and you are stepping on the fucking gas every time you sit in contentment. Every time you sit in that place where all needs are met and nothing else is needed in this moment to make it any more perfect and better. Every time you do it, the longer you do it, you are literally, every second counts. A second is not nothing. It's everything. Let me tell you, and you guys know I ain't Christian. I am not Christian. But I do know the Bible pretty well, right? And the Bible talks about one day for us humans is 1,000 for God. Now, y'all know I'm a time quantum jumper, right? You know I'm a time manipulator. This isn't the channel for quantum jumping. If you want to be on my channel for quantum jumping, you're going to go to my bio and click on the channel for quantum jumping. I don't teach that over here, but over there I do. But I want you to know that the Christian Bible even says it. They talk about quantum jumping. One day for humans is 1,000 for God. So what do you think 1 second for humans are? You do your own conversion. Every second counts. Be content. You are love. I love myself. I love you. Make sure you have liked this video. Share. Please share it with somebody. And subscribe. Let me know some more things you guys want to talk about. You guys, my email is in my bio, kellymarisha@gmail.com. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. Ask questions. I love answering. That's the kind of teacher I am. I go by questions, or I go by whatever I'm kind of like sitting in. And today was contentment for me. So I'm actually outside on my balcony, and I'm getting ready to, you see my blankie, I'm getting ready to release my robe and lay down and just be content. Because I have, as you see, my walls. Aren't they wonderful? Can't nobody see shit. So I love it. I got my water out here, my E-Pure. And I'm getting ready to be content some more, because I definitely had some good content today, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with you guys. So I hope that you loved this. I love you. I love myself. And I will see you guys next time.